The Biden administration has kept most of the Trump-era tariffs on Chinese imports in place, but has not escalated the trade war or imposed new tariffs. The administration has also sought to rally U.S. allies to join Washington in confronting China on trade issues. Why has Biden maintained the tariffs? One reason is that he wants China to meet its commitments under the Phase 1 agreement that was signed, and this agreement reduced some of the tariffs, but left them in place, and China agreed to increase its purchases of U.S. goods and agricultural products by $200 billion over 2 years. However, China has fallen short of this target, buying only 60% of what it promised. Another reason is that Biden wants to protect American workers and manufacturers from unfair trade practices by China. He has said that he will not lift the tariffs until he sees evidence that China is playing by the international rules on fair competition, human rights, and trade. He has also vetoed a legislation that would have reinstated tariffs on some solar panels from Chinese companies in Southeast Asia that had been found to be imported into the U.S. in violation of trade rules. He argued that this would undermine his efforts to promote clean energy and create jobs in the U.S. But keeping the tariffs also comes with costs and challenges. The tariffs have increased the prices of many goods for American consumers and businesses, especially at a time when inflation and supply chain disruptions are already hurting the economy. Importers have paid nearly $123 billion to cover the cost of the China tariffs, since many business groups have urged Biden to restart trade talks with China and cut tariffs on Chinese-made goods that they say are essential for their operations. Biden has also faced criticism from some lawmakers who say that he has violated U.S. trade rules by suspending some of the tariffs without congressional approval. They argue that he has failed to hold China accountable for its illegal actions and has weakened America's leverage in negotiations. In addition to maintaining the tariffs, Biden has also tried to adopt a multilateral approach to deal with China on trade issues. He has worked with U.S. allies such as the European Union, Japan, and Australia to coordinate policies and pressure China to reform its trade practices. He has also joined a new trade pact with Britain and Australia that aims to counter China's influence in the Indo-Pacific region. Biden's strategy of tough love towards China reflects his belief that trade is not only an economic issue, but also a geopolitical one. He wants to balance his goals of advancing America's interests and values, while avoiding a full-blown confrontation with China that could harm both countries and the world. The Biden administration faces challenges and opportunities in its trade relations with China. One of the main challenges is how to balance economic interests with national security concerns. The U.S. wants to protect its technological edge and prevent China from gaining access to advanced semiconductors, which are vital for both civilian and military applications. The U.S. has imposed new rules to limit China's ability to manufacture and acquire these chips, and has also invested billions of dollars to boost its own domestic production. But this strategy could also hurt American businesses that rely on Chinese markets and supply chains, and could trigger retaliation from Beijing. Another challenge is how to address China's industrial policies and subsidies, which the U.S. accuses of creating unfair competition and distorting global trade. The U.S. has maintained tariffs on Chinese imports that were imposed by the Trump administration, and has also threatened to impose more tariffs if China does not meet its commitments under the Phase 1 trade deal signed, and the deal requires China to buy more American goods and services, and to strengthen its protection of intellectual property rights and remove forced technology transfer. However, China has fallen short of its purchase targets and has not made significant reforms in its economic system. A third challenge is how to reform multilateral trading rules to better reflect the realities of the 21st century. The U.S. has criticized the World Trade Organization for being ineffective and outdated, and has blocked the appointment of new judges to its appellate body, which is responsible for resolving trade disputes. The U.S. wants to reform the WTO to address issues such as digital trade, state-owned enterprises, labor rights, and environmental protection. But it also faces resistance from China and other developing countries, who fear losing their preferential treatment under the current rules. On the other hand, the Biden administration also sees opportunities for cooperation with China on global issues like climate change. The U.S. and China are the world's largest emitters of greenhouse gases and have a shared responsibility to reduce their emissions and help other countries transition to clean energy. The U.S. and China have pledged to work together on climate action and have announced a joint statement outlining areas of collaboration, such as reducing methane emissions, phasing out coal, and promoting green finance. The U.S. hopes that by engaging China on common challenges, it can build trust and reduce tensions in other areas of the relationship.